The mystery AEW partners have officially been revealed, but first, a major change could be coming to AEW. Since the launch of AEW Dynamite, All Elite Wrestling has limited itself to 4 pay-per-views a year, with the recent addition of Forbidden Door taking this number to 5. The only time the company has exceeded this was their first year, with this to make up for the lack of weekly television. According to a new report from Fightful Select, things could be set to change. This is part of the ongoing negotiations over a renewed deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, and the report notes, Warner Bros. Discovery sources confirmed to Fightful Select that one of the major proposals from their end to All Elite Wrestling as it relates to an extension is the subject of PPV or PLE events. Specifically, a WBD source told Fightful that they mentioned the very likely possibility of significantly expanding the AEW pay-per-view schedule even to 1 a month. We're told that this is something that Warner Bros. Discovery has wanted. It was noted that it's currently unclear if the expansion would be part of a deal for the pay-per-views to be moved onto the Max streaming service, or if the events would remain on a pay-per basis. Fightful would confirm that right now nothing in the upcoming deal is finalized, although an expanded schedule has been a topic of the talks. The news follows another recent Fightful report that revealed AEW was set for a huge money increase as things stand, with more shows seemingly being a factor in the rise. Next up, a former WWE superstar has discussed their recent departure from the company. In May 2022, reports would reveal that both Naomi and Sasha Banks walked out of an episode of Monday Night Raw, resulting in them being suspended and stripped of their WWE Women's Tag titles. Since then, both women have seen out their WWE contracts to become free agents, with Banks heading to Japan under the name of Mercedes Moné, whilst Naomi is currently appearing in Impact Wrestling under her real name of Trinity. Speaking with the New York Post this week, Trinity would be asked about the possibility of linking back up with Mercedes in the future, with her revealing the bond that the two share over what happened at the end of their WWE run, and she would say, "I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else other than her, whatever that is. I'll always do what's best for her, what's best for me, and what's best for the business. If it's something that comes up that makes sense for the both of us, hell yeah. Me and her, we just had each other, it felt like. Other than Tamina, Bailey checking in on us regularly, that was it. We just had each other going through that. Nobody understands the magnitude of what happened and what really went on and why we feel the way we feel and where we are, but me and her and the people that were involved that day. It just goes to show how real our friendship is and how real all of this is." Trinity's next task inside the ring will see her challenge for the Impact Knockouts Championship at the upcoming Slammiversary event this Saturday night, when she takes on Deonna Purrazzo with the belt on the line. And now let's turn our attentions to last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, where the Owen Hart Foundation tournament continued. The show would see a semi-finals match of the women's side of the Owen Hart Cup, where Ruby Soho took on Sky Blue for a spot in this Saturday night's final. In the end, it was Soho that secured herself a place in the final 2 after catching Sky with a kick as she leapt off the top rope, allowing her to score the pinfall win. This means that the Outcast member will meet either Willow Nightingale or ROH Women's World Champion Athena on this Saturday's episode of Collision, with the other semi-final being taped last night, ready to air on this Friday's Rampage. Collision will also feature the final for the men's side of the tournament, with Ricky Starks set to battle CM Punk for the other trophy. But who do you see winning both Owen Hart Cup finals this weekend? Let me know in the comments down below. And speaking of AEW tournaments, the finals are set for the Blind Tag Eliminator tournament. Last night's episode of AEW Dynamite would see both semi-finals of the ongoing No. 1 Contenders tournament take place, with the unlikely duo of Adam Cole and MJF going up against Big Bill and Brian Cage, whilst Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara of the Jericho Appreciation Society faced off with Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. The first match would see interference from Swerve Strickland cost Allin and Cassidy a place in the final, with Guevara and Garcia advancing instead. New best friends MJF and Adam Cole would then overcome the size disadvantage when they took on Cage and Bill, with them now set to battle the two members of the JAS next week on Dynamite for a future shot at the AEW World Tag Team Champions, titles that will be held by either FTR or Bullet Club Gold, depending on the result of the title match this Saturday on AEW Collision. Next up, a much anticipated AEW debut has taken place. Last week on Dynamite, it was revealed that 18-year-old independent standout Nick Wayne was set to make his All Elite Wrestling debut, this after agreeing an apprenticeship deal with AEW in February 2022 at the age of 16. The show would see Nick wrestle fellow Washington State rival Swerve Strickland in singles action, this as another fellow statesman and mentor Darby Allin watched on from the top of the ramp. In the end, the youngster would fall short during his first match in the company when the momentum switched into Swerve's favor after a close pinfall, with a JML driver being enough to put Wayne away. Despite the loss, AEW president Tony Khan would seemingly confirm that Nick Wayne is now under a full-time contract when he posted a traditional "is all elite" graphic, the usual sign that a deal has been signed, and Khan would say, "Congratulations, what a debut tonight on Wednesday night AEW Dynamite, and now it's official, Nick Wayne is all elite." It appears that last night's events are to set up a feud between Swerve and Darby going forward, with Nick likely to play a key role in the story going forward. And next, the mystery partners for Blood and Guts have now officially been revealed. Last night's main event segment would see Don Callis make his way to the ring alone in order to announce the 5th member of the Blackpool Combat Club's team for next week's Blood and Guts match, and with Callis seemingly vulnerable and alone, this led to Kenny Omega interrupting his former manager to get a taste of revenge following his recent betrayal. However, on his way down to the ramp, the cleaner would be cut off by Jon Moxley and the 5th man, Pac, who returns to screens for the first time since January, and the Death Triangle's Best of 7 series with the Elite for the AEW Trios Championships. Pac would then reveal that he is out for revenge of his own, this after Kenny broke his nose during that Trios series. Just as Pac was set to take out Omega there and then onto a steel chair that was resting on his neck, a video package would play to introduce the 5th man on the Elite side of next week's match. As many expected, the video would reveal that Kenny's former Golden Lovers tag team partner Kota Ibushi is set to make his AEW debut, an appearance that won't be happening until next week's show. Despite Ibushi not being there on the night, the video would provide a distraction that allowed Hangman Page and the Young Bucks to clear the ring of Pac, Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita, with Omega then declaring that once Blood and Guts is over and the BCC have been taken down, his attention will turn to Don Callis. We now await to find out the nature of Kota Ibushi's deal with AEW, whether it be a one-off appearance or a full-time contract, or potentially a move via New Japan Pro-Wrestling, a company that have placed an offer on the table to re-sign the current free agent. As we've mentioned before, Kota's decision will likely play a big role in whether the Elite re-sign with AEW. And before you go, make sure you check out how AEW can change wrestling forever.